Hey guys, welcome to Amity Tracks. I want to review Neil Young's latest. It's been a couple of months, so it's time for a new Neil Young album. And this is before and after. Looks like he spent at least a minute on the album art. Although I do like on the beach and the sand, and then the ocean coming to. That's kind of cool. There's Neil. Anyway, before and after from Neil Young. Now, I did buy this on CD, kind of hedge my bets a little bit. Although I don't know, I'm thinking more and more I might go back out and grab it on vinyl. Something I did just grab on vinyl though, that when I was going to grab this and I didn't realize he had put this out the previous month. It is the 50th anniversary of Time Fades Away. And see, as Time Fades Away 50. And so it's a new version, although it's basically the same album. Although it's kind of cool. It's got clear vinyl there. There we are. Um, and one bonus track, one additional track, which is pretty cool. The track that they added onto here is the last trip to Tulsa, the live version that he did with his band on this tour, previously available on the massive Archives Volume 2 set. But if you didn't get that, here it is. It's pretty awesome. So it adds a nice little touch to this. I was going to do like a double review, kind of talk about both of them. But there's so much to say about this one. I got inspired to, you know what? Let's put together a deep dive. So we'll do a deep dive on the whole Time for It Fades Away album and story soon. But let's just kind of focus this video on the new one, before and after. So I was looking on YouTube, I don't know, a month or two ago, flipping around, looking for Neil Young concerts because I watch shows sometimes, and I came across this video of a show that he did very recently. I guess it was this year, maybe it was last year. I don't know. It was very recently. Short little tour he just did of the West Coast, a couple West Coast dates, a solo acoustic. And I remember being like really impressed with it. I was really good. I mean, he was, for his age, we keep saying that now, but he still sounded really good, still played really well. Um, what I really liked was it was a really eclectic, deep cuts focused set list. I wasn't just playing the hits, and that was very cool. That was very cool. Well, lo and behold, that's basically what this is. My understanding is I'm not quite sure. I thought it was maybe he went in the studio and reproduced that, but from what my understanding now from reading more and more about it is these songs are taken actually from those shows, but just the audience noise is taken out, and there's no in between song banter, of course, which he does a lot of, for real. That's all taken out, and it's all kind of strung together. There's really no space between the songs. It goes from one song to another song, so it's all sort of one piece in a way, kind of how he intended it, at least. So like I said, he must have been as impressed with his set list that I was, that he decided to put it out as an album, basically. And in reading the stuff leading up to it, some quotes from Neil. He says, one uninterrupted 48-minute piece, and music montage with no beginnings or endings, as he described it. From what I was reading about, I was concerned, like on the CD, he wasn't even going to put, you want to have individual tracks, which is going to be one 48-minute track. Fortunately, when I bought this, that's not the case. You can go from song to song. So I'm like, okay, good. It's a real nice listen. It's very intimate. I think more on the mellow side than the rocking side, especially kind of the middle part where he gets into a batch of sort of ballads that he plays on the piano. It is cool that these songs, the set list on here stretches from 1966 to 2001. So it's kind of a broad spectrum of songs. It's cool. There's some familiar, but mostly deep cut, which I appreciate. There's kind of this piece. The first four songs are acoustic guitar, but then the rest of it mostly there's one other song with acoustic guitar that comes near the end. but the rest of it's mostly on piano and pipe organ or pump organ. I forget which one. The organ. Okay, when he does those renditions on the organ, I think it's the pump organ. Uh, there's a lot of harmonica throughout, and of course his singing. His voice is still good. I don't know how old Neil is. He's in the late 70s at this point. But his voice is still good, but it's a little more fragile. But that kind of suits the music here a little bit. So, what are the highlights here? He opens with "I'm the Ocean," which originally was from the mid '90s that he did with Pearl Jam on that Mirrorball album. That's the revelation to me. The 6 minute acoustic, lots of great harmonica, acoustic version that just pretty kind of drives pretty hard of "I'm the Ocean." I think this acoustic rendition is much better than the version that was on Mirrorball, in my view. Really very, very interesting lyrics that stand out a lot more in this acoustic version. What's that one line of his? Um, I don't do the things that people my age usually do, or something. It could be his epitaph, right? So that's awesome. Then the second track, Home Fires. To me, that's the other highlight. Now, Home Fires has a long history. It is really one of the few of those great gems from the 70s that he has yet to put out on an archives, like individual release. It is available on this, the box set, Archives 2, that covers that era. So he does have a studio version of that from that area, the era that he recorded. But anything off of that box set, he's got to get it on bootlegs. It's cool to have that. It's a beautiful song. It's cool to have that song on a official release now at this point. Um, so honestly, those are my two favorite tracks. And that's the first and second tracks. I'm not really. I'm not going to go as far as say it's all downhill from there. But those are the two highlights. He pulls out three Buffalo Springfield tunes. Two of them fairly predictable. One of them a real great deep cut though. He does Mr. Soul, but he does Mr. Soul on the pump organ. I don't like that rendition that much. What is kind of this brooding, uh, great guitar riff, whether it's done electrically or acoustically, on the pump organ, it sounds kind of goofy to me. I don't know. It's just I don't know. It just doesn't have that grit, and so I'm not a big fan of the organ version of Mr. Soul. It was really in the '90s he started doing this, where he'd do this pump organ, and it was on the Unplugged album where he did "Like a Hurricane," which is an awesome rendition of that. Sometimes the whole organ thing works, sometimes it doesn't. Here, I don't think it really works. He pulls out "On the Way Home," which he's played forever. He does that acoustically. Yeah, you have 12 other, especially if you get into the archives, 12 other versions of that if you want. But the gem is Burned. I love that song Burned. It was on the very first Buffalo Springfield album. He hadn't pulled that out live all that much in his solo days and or solo decades. But love it that he pulls out Burned. That's pretty cool. Mother Earth is nice. Your Mother Earth was his last track, I believe. It was the last track. I don't know. It was on from Ragged Glory, I believe. He does a organ version of that, which actually is really effective. I like that one. That the slow piano ballads, they do tend to run together. Birds is nice, which is a real kind of deep cut off After the Gold Rush. That was nice. When I Hold You in Your Arms, which is from the unremarkable Are You Passionate album, that's a kind of a nice rendition of that. Real spare, beautiful on the piano. One of the only overdubs I can tell from this album. He actually overdubbed a really nice electric guitar line in there over the piano. Do that more. That's nice. He pulls out "Comes a Time," that acoustic rendition. To me, the definitive version of that song is from Live Rust, of course. And so he does this kind of his acoustic guitar harmonica arrangement here too. It's a little more fragile. It's interesting to compare. I mean, for me, the Live Rust is still definitive, but it's kind of a little more delicate in this version here. I guess it's notable there is one previously unreleased song on here, If You Got Love. He does in his organ version of that. That dates from the early 80s. It was one of the tracks that he had recorded at the time for Trans, but didn't make it. It's nice. It's not, it's not going to change your life or anything, but I mean, it's all right. Kind of cool to get since it's a previously unavailable song, but it doesn't blow you away or anything. Anyway, overall, this is a good intimate. It's like you're at an intimate acoustic show with all the audience sound taken out and the in between song banter, which I always enjoy. He's pretty funny at live, but all the in between song banter taken out and just these songs run together, and it's nice. I think in the right mood, it's nice. Is it something I'm going to be pulling out a ton? Going forward after this review, I don't know. Maybe occasionally, for I'm the Ocean and Home Fires, probably those two, are the reasons to get excited about this in my book. But anyway, yeah, not bad, not really important, just kind of good in there. If you're a Neil fan, is how I would assess this. Lukewarm, review, but sometimes that's what he does. What do you guys think? You guys heard this? What are your thoughts on it? Were you blown away, or were you really disappointed, or were you where I am, kind of in the middle with a few highlights? But other than that, you're probably not going to pull this out all that often. Anyway, let's talk about it in the comments. Thanks for watching, guys. Please do subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications, like the videos, share the videos. All that stuff helps us with that mysterious YouTube algorithm. And we'll see you guys next time on Amity Tracks.